welcome the contenders, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Paris. Welcome to the 2013 ITTF World Table Tennis Championships. It is the quarterfinals time in the men's singles division. We're covering table number 2. Unfolding before our eyes in a few minutes will be China versus Portugal. Xu Xian versus this man in the picture, Manolo Freitas. My name is Sebastian Halle and I'm proud to welcome Mikael Andersson, table tennis expert bar none. Always good to rely on your knowledge, Mikael. Welcome.
Thank you very much. We're looking forward to this one. It's one of 4 quarterfinals, obviously. And it's going to be interesting to see Manolo Freitas here. One of the top Europeans at this moment. To see if he can manage Susin somehow, manage his service and be able to kind of compete a little bit with the top-seeded Susin, who's looked so good so far.
Absolutely quite smooth sailing for Xu Xian. Already beat one of his teammates, Manolo Freitas. He beat Thiago Apollonia 4 games to 0. And if you look at the score, I did not manage to see this game, but second game won 11-0. So that speaks quite a clear language on his capacities. You're absolutely right. He is #1 seeded for this tournament, as he's the #1 in the world at the moment. Man in the, well, let's say, yellow shirt. Manolo Freitas had to fight a bit more. Won against Chan Katsuhiro, 4 games to 1. And a very memorable game before that. I remember him playing against a player from North Korea, was down 3 games to 0 and turned this game around and won it in the end, 4 games to 3. He is a fighter. That is what he's known for. And he will have to fight indeed against the #1 seeded player for the World Championships.
I'm sure he's going to get his fair share of support that night also in Paris-Bercy. Good crowd, and I'm sure all the Europeans are seeing some support coming down from the stands tonight.
Absolutely furious support in Bercy. At the Palais Omnisport de Paris-Bercy, we've seen the ranks fill up quite nicely here. I would suggest now about probably 8,000 people sitting here cheering for what you have been right. Mostly the European players. We've seen Vladimir Samsonov gain quite the support here against Kenji Matsudaira. What a game he played. Same can be said for...
Yeah, most of all, also it's a crowd that knows table tennis. They appreciate the game, and it's solid French table tennis fans, I would say, and of course international guests as well, coming here to Paris to watch some good table tennis. And what a show tonight, Saturday night here in Paris, with such good games coming up now, and playing on 2 courts only. So really a party for table tennis fans.
Absolutely, doesn't get bigger than this. The World Championships on a Saturday night in Paris. Liu Guliang, the head coach for the Chinese men's national team, with last-minute advice to his player.
Susin also a lot of the knowledgeable coaches to speak with here around, and they're so impressed by his status right now as a top-seeded player, and especially his service. His wrist action is absolutely fantastic, and he has also improved his backhand topspin game with the reverse side of his pen holder. And look, I mean, it's really such a force. He's been so far in this tournament, shown no hesitation whatsoever. So obviously, Michaels, can he take his service though? I mean, there's been the #1 question to be asked here, and if he can he stay close to the table? Because Michaels, always throughout his career as junior player, cadet player, always been one of these guys that, you know, takes a few steps back and fantastic defense from backcourt, but in this case, you know, the angles could be played completely different, and also the power and the speed. So he needs to be aware. He needs to try to be very aggressive on Susin service and show that he can return his service, I think.
You're exactly right. What I was getting into here. Most European players especially have quite a huge amount of problems with the serve of Xu Xian. As you said it, as the penhold player, we can see here both players left-handed, by the way. The penhold player has a more free wrist, more room for action in spin variation. And Xu Xian especially fearsome in the serve and fearsome in the third ball attack as well, which is his game. Tends to use the shorter rallies. And what I really like about his style, if you will, there's nobody in the world that plays like Xu Xian. Very unique style of playing.
Yeah, we can call him a dying breed on table tennis players, because penhold players are, you know, not even. You look at the Korean team, who has been a traditionally penholder country and a very famous penholder players throughout. They struggle to have coaches understanding the technique and so on. Obviously in China, with the resources behind, I'm sure he has a very good private coach, beside also learning him to develop this you know, grip that is so unique for table tennis.
Said it, 2 games on the way at the moment. Table number 1. German Timo Boll is facing Seiya Kishikawa from Japan. And this game here is about to start as well. It's a best-of-7 match, like all the matches of this competition.
But you learn step by step, and I think Portugal, if you go back to London 2012, they were, you know, in the team event. They were taking good fight with Korea. Now you see Manolo Freitas here playing in the last date, and really, it's a good step for him. And let's see if he can take it to another level.
One love.
Starting with a long serve. Used as a device, of course, to make Manolo Freitas feel uncomfortable from the get-go.
Love 2.
Lost a bit of balance here for the backhand topspin. See that arcing back with his upper body.
Four love.
Furious start for Xu Xian. You can see that the so-called reverse penhold backhand here technique, which he also has mastered. Does not feel as comfortable playing as, for example, Wang Hao. Still very good at this. And that is, of course, his trademark shot, his weapon of choice, if you will. He's so fast in stepping around to playing this backhand, forehand shot. Huge motion swung from the whole arm. And he has the feet to generate the time he needs to execute that shot as well.
Yeah, that's also the penholder technique. It works in your favor when you step around the corner like that. So.
Love 7.
I'm sure it's some kind of fear also in Manolo Freitas if Susin put up a 0 on his body. Apollonia, I'm sure he heard about that in the beginning here, but let's just shake it off and try to get some rallies going. That's the problem, though, when you play a guy like Susin. You don't get a handle on his service, and he's around the corner right away. You know, it's not fun.
Absolutely not. That is what most players say against Xu Xian. It's absolutely not fun playing against him. So difficult to read his serve, so difficult to establish even a rally. And you've said it, Mikhail. Marcos Freitas is a rallies player. He needs these long topspin versus topspin. He needs to sink his teeth into something here and fight. And of course, he needs to open the rally up some way.
1-9.
It's also, I mean, a question for him to. It's easy to say from here, but he needs to be tough also when he gets the chances right away. I mean, it's the second point here. He just played soft over, and that's not going to do it. You know? I mean, if you have a chance to block or go between, you have to do it, because otherwise there's no chance. But that was a good opening, though. It's a good direction on that forehand shot.
9-3.
Scoring now some points, but at 9-3, long way to go to win even this game here. This time it works out for Marcos Freitas that we have a best of 7 game. Do have some time to adjust. And that was well placed into the body of Xu Xian.
And very good adjustment also by Marcos, who that ball wasn't placed toward his body, but he still got deep down and was ready to pull it over. So, you know, those kind of shots, you build the confidence and you try to get the game in order.
Nicely done. So-called banana flick made its first appearance here. If you look at that in slow motion, look at the side spin on the ball, the way it arcs in the air and bounces.
And very well done to do it down the line also. Normally that shot is maybe easy to do cross court, but he was managing to put it down the line.
6-9.
And a better bite in his service there. He was not so hesitant to use his wrist and, you know, get the ball up. And that's good. It's very good that you keep going here and get a few points. In the case you would lose the first one, at least you played well.
10-6.
Now it's 10-6 though. 4 game points to Xu Xian. Once again, well read the serve.
He came in very nicely, see, over the table surface there. Very, very good, very well done by Marcos Freitas.
But the next point to Xu Xian, and so it is 11-7, 1-0, the lead for the player from China. We're back in the action. Second game about to start here. Furious start really for Xu Xian from China. But Marcos Freitas has established himself, especially in the latter parts of this game.
Love 1.
And these are the shots only Xu Xian can do. Large reach and a deep forehand. Good reaction too, keeping the tension in the upper body.
You gotta love the placement on that backhand. You know, first of all, very difficult technique, but perfect placement on that right down to the pocket of Marcos.
That is a place that you have coined, the pocket shot. Learned that from you. Of course, that point forces a decision between forehand and backhand. So that they're once again setting this rally up. That decision just costs you time you don't have in table tennis. Spectacular. Incredible that that even got back to the table here from Xu Xian. Almost reached that one too.
Well, that's okay though. I mean, it's maybe Marcos is can use a little bit half-long service also to get maybe a softer topspin to work with, and then stay close exactly like that. Because if you serve too short, then there's control there, and you cannot pace yourself in the short game. Then you get a much tougher attack. You open up for a much tougher attack from Xu Xian, and that could be a problem.
This is also what makes it so difficult in this match for Marcos Freitas. Look at the angle he creates, Xu Xian, on the topspin with the free wrist movement of the penhold. Very nice. Very few people who can go toe-to-toe with Xu Xian in forehand topspin versus topspin. Krause told us this yesterday. Players playing against Xu Xian, there's always this little extra spin on everything he does. Oh, wow.
Yeah, for sure. He has, you know, really tough spin to work with, and that makes it tough, of course, to play hard. But luckily for Marcos now, the game is opening up a little bit, and scoring some of that point, at least it gives you confidence, and maybe you can then use that to improve some of your service and return, and take a few more risks with good feeling of the game.
Oh, and that was quite well set up with the serve. Not the best of return from Xu Xian. Marcos Freitas did not capitalize on that.
Oh, that's I'm sure he's not too happy with that backhand shot. It should be on the table and quite tough, but
7-4.
And this is once again where Xu Xian lives in this game. Great serve, and then stepping around in the backhand side and playing that one fine topspin, that decisive topspin that does not come back to the table.
4-8.
Every 6 points, these players are entitled to use the towel to dry their hands and face. Sometimes used as sort of a mini timeout here to develop new strategies. See if it helped Marcos Freitas.
not bad. I think if you want to have any chance against Xu Xian, you've got to expose his backhand side a little bit better, and it's a good serve, a good fast serve down to his backhand. Okay, you gave me that one down the line. That's okay. Good reaction.
Absolutely.
Ten
10-5. Spinny topspin, the first one this time from Xu Xian. More focus on spin than speed. Difficult to control. You have to find the right angle of the racket. And the first game point from Xu Xian is already used. Has picked up his game and then wins the second one 11-5. He's now leading 2 games to 0.
Thank you.
Time calls the players back to the table number 2. We're in the round of 16 match of the men's singles at the World Championships 2013. Xu Xian from China is leading 2 games to 0 over Manolo Freitas from Portugal. And whoever wins this match will be facing Kenta Matsudera from Japan tomorrow. He beat Vladimir Samsonov from Belarus. Very spectacular game for 2-3 earlier today. Nice, open up the table. I think Manolo Freitas was even expecting Xu Xian to play a forehand topspin on that. Good thinking on your feet.
First lead for Marcos. It was a good one. Good rally, and he got deep down and put a lot of forehand topspin.
That is so difficult to play what he intended to do there. A couple of steps missing even.
Impressive also that's pulling that backhand topspin also down towards Marcos, in between backhand forehand. Full pocket, or call it what you like. I mean, it's an unbelievable effective placement of the ball.
Absolutely. Very good quality, I have to say, on the backhand topspin from Manolo Freitas as well. You can see him turning around the rally with that one. This one coming up here. Good placement once again into the pocket or onto the elbow or whatever. And then switch the side after that.
So difficult also for Marcos here to read the placement where the serve is coming in. And sometimes you can feel that in this case here, you're exposing your fast towards a fast service down to Marcos' backhand side, so you're getting a little bit of hesitation and then short forehand, and you're a little bit late on that ball. It causes all kinds of trouble
Fans for both players in action at the moment. Always great to see even the young ones appreciating what is happening here. Nicely done. Played that almost around the net. You can see Shushin was waiting in the forehand side.
Go back to that short service in forehand there, and you can see it's a little bit late and cannot keep it short. You know, you're going to be a little bit more aggressive there, but I can understand that he doesn't read that very well. He's a little bit afraid to get long, fast service from a left-hander down to your backhand side. So. He's always had Michael's already soft hand there. But sometimes now in modern tennis, they put it like that, you got to be aggressive on the short serve. Now you can see he's playing on feeling a little bit on the short one, which is almost all the effective Asians for sure are going to go in very, very quick on that ball.
4-7. This is also, of course, the effect that a long serve into the backhand can have. Even if you don't score necessarily with that point, the opponent keeps thinking, what if that comes again?
Especially because Michaels is lining up a little bit, you know, he wants, of course, to play forehand a lot. There's a little bit of this player that plays still, you know, 75% forehand think and 25% backhand. But a lot of players now play much more backhand into the middle, and he's, you know, he showed us a few times that he can do things with his backhand side. But and then get caught there with a long service from Shushin when he's releasing a little bit half long, and that one is absolutely a must to topspin.
Good spin variation once more from Shushin. He keeps Marcus Freitas guessing. Has had some trouble with heavy topspin, and now playing no topspin at all. 10-4, 6 game points to Shushin.
5-10.
It was tense there for a second at 4 each, but look what happened. 6 points in a row for the world-ranked #1 from China. Second opportunities using already once again with the spinny topspin. 11-5, 3 games to 0 for Shushin.
End of the set, each on each table. The set for the same player. Team ball on table 1 is 3-0. On table 2, #1, Shushin, with also 3-0.
Game, Freitas to serve, level. Love 1.
Shushin picks this up right where he left it in the last game. Once more, you can see the little more indirect of a topspin. You can see that pulling his arm up to his head. Most of the time it means more spin, but can also mean no spin at all, so that is not an indication at all. It's easy for us to say, of course, when we see the effect, but down there at the table, this is much more difficult to read. Shushin 23 years old, and he won the grand finals of the World Tour 2012 in Hangzhou. He has not won one of the big tournaments, one of the big titles yet. He no doubt will want to change that at the World Championships. What a screamer!
I mean, this is gymnastics at high level. So, I mean, those kind of shots, you know, really unbelievable physical strength and acrobatic kind of table tennis.
We keep coming back to the matter of confidence. If you're confident, if you're up 3-0, these shots are much easier to do. 4-1, forcing a timeout for Marcos Freitas. Do you think this might be a little bit too late?
Yeah, I mean, Marcos is kind of, his mentality is, I would call it a little bit Portuguese with some signs. But I mean, he's not the most energetic player out there. I mean, he's calm and composed and so on. And he, as you said in the beginning, he wants those open rallies. And, you know, I don't know, you have to impose your will very quickly and go for it, a little bit mentality. That would be probably the only chance to disturb a player like Susin here. I think if you look at it, Susin is quite comfortable. He knows where to play the ball. There's not a problem with the service. He knows that he can score at the wheel almost in this match. So, but it's a learning curve, and I think Marcos Freitas still is one of these European players that spend a lot of time in the German Bundesliga environment, plays a lot there, plays very little tournaments in Asia, for example. So it's a very static planning that he's gone through. Of course, you improve still as a 25, 26-year-old player, and he's been professional now for at least 10 years. But it's different, though. He has to go out and he has to play, you know, tournaments in Asia to be tougher and to play against the best. If your ambition is to win matches like this, which I hope his goal is in the future.
Absolutely, the 25-year-old Marcos Freitas. Bright future still ahead of him, and it's already good accomplishment for him here to be in around the last 16 in the World Championships. No doubt about that.
But it exposes very clearly it's 23 on the world ranking, and here you have number 1. And the difference is what we see here today is probably relevant to the playing strength also. So there's a lot of work to do for those players that are around 20, 25 on the world ranking to really close the gap. And how do you do that? Well, you have to get a hold of playing a lot more in Asia, I believe. So it's a question of planning, obviously, a question of resources and all that. But if there's a will, there's a way.
In terms of this game, though, ladies and gentlemen, Xu Xian is dominating at will at the moment. We've said this. He's up 3-0. He can try new things. He can even go for these all-in shots, if you will. They even land, as we saw earlier.
8-2.
Marcos Freitas did play a good second game. But it seems this is just not enough to beat the world ranked number 1. But he has some skills in table tennis, to say the least. You can see it here. A flick and then a quick reaction to play that down the line.
And why not use that quicker in the game, I think, maybe in the beginning, because if there's any way you're going to force Susin is to force him out in the forehand corner, let him play, take that one, pull it down the line. I mean, so it's a little bit interesting now, maybe relaxing a little bit more and playing a little bit tougher. So, but it all depends. It's not so easy, as you say, to sit here and give those kind of advice. Much tougher to execute down the court.
Exactly. We've had this phenomenon quite some time. Players tend to start a bit more passive, try to be a bit safer, not go this high-risk shots. And this is just something you cannot do against the top Chinese players. You need to put pressure on them right away. You're absolutely right. Just go for the risk. You're bound to miss a few shots, but you see what happens here. You cannot come back from a 2-0, now a 3-0. Very unlikely.
9-5.
And it's exactly in these kinds of situations when he's down 1-8, Xu with a high lead, that Marcos Freitas really playing his best table tennis.
I think the respect is so huge, really, for a top-ranked player of this nature, especially with him having this service, and you don't know, like there's such a difficult feeling for a player not to be able to handle his service, and for sure you know that anything can happen, but Xu is almost too strong, at least for this match.
That seems indeed to be the case. 11-5 the score once again. 5 match points to Xu. And this is something that can happen, although this is just exhibition style, but he can get lost in his own possibilities here. He was trying for another trick shot here, but could not decide on one.
But nice also Marcos to show what he has, this fantastic ball feeling, I think, and really be able to so fluent. If he gets time enough, he can really play fantastic, exciting table tennis. So we are not here to get down on him, but he's really a good, attractive table tennis player. And why not? They show him something for the crowd here. And I have a feeling that he is improving. He's quite improving step by step. And obviously, I don't want to get down on the German Bundesliga either. It's a special environment and players do get better. But it's a difference also on the international stage to come out on the big courts in settings like that to play well and execute well. And obviously, we had a good World Championships here, and hopefully we can build on that. And I mean, we look ahead, and the Portuguese team is still very competitive for European standards, and a lot of good things to come for Marcos Freitas, I'm sure.
No doubt, hoping for that. As you've said it, very attractive, his game. Crowd loves it. He's loved by the fans for that as well. Has even forced a timeout from Liu Guoliang, reminding Xu probably this is the World Championships, just win this. That is indeed what is happening at this very moment, ladies and gentlemen. The final score is 4-0 for Xu over Marcos Freitas from Portugal. The #1 seeded player remains in the tournament, thanking the crowd, as is Marcos Freitas. You see the confirmation here, 11-7, 11-5, 11-5 and 11-7. Smooth sailing for the #1 player in the world. Advances to the quarterfinal stage of the World Championships 2013. We'll be back in a few moments with the next men's singles round #3 match. Another big one we have for you. We'll be seeing the defending world champion facing his opponent from Austria. It will be Zhang Tike from China versus Robert Gardosh.
To fight and to beat Manolo, I know you know him pretty well. Je sais que tu le connais bien. Je sais que tu as des armes pour le battre.
Yes, I hope I can use them against him, but it's another game. It's a different game against him.